Okay, class, did you do the rest of your reading homework on illusion? Chapter 4, motivation, procrastination, like I told you guys to? So, not a single one of you did your homework? Unbelievable. You know this makes us behind schedule, right? Oh, teacher, I did! Huh? Well, okay, little Timmy. At least you read it. So, what did you learn from the book? I learned that this illusion guy is a lazy piece of shit! Little Timmy! Principal's office? No! We don't use that kind of language in my class! You're fine! Well, you guys brought this onto yourselves. Since no one did the reading, you're all doing double the work this weekend. But since I'm nice, we will read the next chapter as a class. I'm gonna start passing out the reading packets. This one is titled Chapter 5, I Love My Job, I Hate My Life. Miguel, can you start us off by reading the introduction of this chapter?
Yeah. I can. What's up, guys? Illusion here. It is May 7. 1 week since I recorded the first part. Actually, no, holy shit. No, never mind. 2 weeks. Two weeks since I recorded the first audio. Yeah. So the topic for today's video will be a lighter topic compared to the other ones, I think. I don't know. You know what this essay talks about is my social anxiety and my confidence. I talk about my confidence in middle school, high school, and then I'll talk about how that kind of shifts a little bit when I go straight to adulthood. Holy fuck, I'm an adult. What the fuck, man? Look, I forget sometimes. I'm 20. What the fuck? Anyway, sorry for the delay. I mean, look, it's always delayed. But yeah, this time I have a valid excuse, okay? I have a valid excuse. It's because I was working my ass off. Because I'm really like that. Like, motherfucker, I'm sore from the fucking last 2 to 3 days working. My back, my arms. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not the sorest. I can walk it off. Alright, now let's talk about the middle school. Around late 2017, that is when I started going to middle school. Now, while yes, I was nervous, as one would be, however, luckily, I got somewhat comfortable the first day because the same people that I went to 4th and 5th also went to my middle school. So I was not alone. Yeah. You know, once I saw my friends, I was like, fuck yeah. Yo, this place about to be lit. Now, where does the confidence and the anxiety play a role here? Well, to me, at least at the time, it's not noticeable because I would kind of brush it off as like, oh, I'm just shy. Because, I mean, yeah, you know, I was a shy kid. So I would have a bit of trouble starting the friendship, but I would have a friendship anyways because I was fucking cool like that. I still am, I still am. Okay, I still am. I don't remember a good example of me being socially anxious in the 6th grade, but an example is I lost my schedule the second day. So I had to rely on memorization because I was scared to ask the teachers for a new schedule. Surprisingly, with how bad my memory is, I memorized the schedule. But the more I look back at the moment, I now realize that that was probably like the first sign of my social anxiety. You know, the social anxiety will soon snowball into a bigger problem. Snowball, you say? Well, are these snowballs cold? Yes, fucking cold. How much is fucking? It's cold enough to freeze mercury. In the 7th grade, early 2019, the signs were getting pretty obvious that I might have had some sort of anxiety with people. I have a story about my social anxiety when there was a time when the temperature dropped down to -20 to -50 degrees. On screen for those Europeans, this is the temperature. Shit was so cold that we only had 2 days of school that week. But because I was so scared of meeting new people, I said, fuck it. Fuck the bus. I'm walking. I walked to school in like fucking -20 degree weather. And that's how bad I feared people back then. I would rather potentially freeze myself than sit with someone for like 10 minutes. Surprisingly, other than that, everything seemed normal. But I should have paid more attention at this moment. In the 8th grade, early 2020, shit was going good. I would fuck around and goof off with like a handful of the school. And then at home, I'd be hanging out with my friends at the apartments, staying outside till like 8, 9, 10, sometimes up to 12 a.m. almost every day. I think this might be the year where I knew the most people. And since, you know, some of my friends were getting girls, this is where I kind of felt behind and out of place. Like, yeah, I had girlfriends, but I would never ask any of them to be my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I was too shy to ask, man. But you know, that problem was more in the back of my mind, so I didn't care that much. I knew I was young, but still I kind of felt behind. 3 months into 2020, a new kid showed up to our school, and that kid's name is COVID-19. Fucking bitch. Now see, my boy COVID-19 here, he casually walks in, you know, and fucks everything over. No lube. Closes down the restaurants, the offices, the schools, whatever you can think of. COVID-19 closed that shit. My mom gets a message from the school saying that, you know, they're closing for like 2 to 3 weeks. She tells me this, and then I'm like, fuck yeah, I got no school. Now see, what little me does not know is that this moment right here will be the happiest that he will ever be in his life. And that nothing after this moment will ever be the same. Nothing. It will all go downhill from here. This is the Franz Ferdinand of my mental health. And just like that, the first war begins. Probably like a week later after that message, the school had a brilliant idea. Oh my god, you're so smart. Online learning. Yeah! Usually the teachers would post work on this fucking Google classes or some shit. I don't know. It would be videos of them teaching or a picture of a worksheet that we had to type in. I did like half of them because remember what I said in part 4. Low motivation. When I said everything declines, I mean everything declines. The biggest regret here is not asking my friends' numbers. There were warnings months and weeks before the pandemic became widespread. I should have acted sooner. You can tell I was missing them, but at least I had my friends who lived in apartments. But I didn't hang out with them as much because of social distancing. Going outside went from an everyday thing to a whenever I feel like it type day. However, those friendships didn't last long because around late 2020, me and my mom moved out of the apartments and into this house that is shared among like 2 other families. I don't know what the correct term for it is, but I think it's a townhome. The reason for moving is I guess she met my stepdad and that they were having my baby sister now. What the fuck? Why does it feel so long? My baby sister is like 5 already. What the fuck, man? This house is like 30 minutes away from the apartments. And the people I have known since the 4th grade, I will never see them again. I will never hear them again. And this is one of the lowest points of my lives, man. I was already vulnerable to social anxiety, but now COVID made that problem 10 times worse. Bro, I was fucking lonely, man, and had no one to talk to during that time. I wanted to talk to people, but yet I was so afraid to start a conversation with anybody. The only time I would have a connection with people is if I was playing Roblox. Specifically, work at a pizza place. I have been playing that game 24/7 since 2019. So I did have a good amount of online friends. Shit was fun, and I really miss those moments on that game. It's a shame that I don't play games anymore. 9th grade freshman year begins, and I'm taking Zoom classes at the high school that I was originally gonna go if I haven't moved. You know, I was happy for a moment when Zoom started because it's a new environment. It's a unique experience. But after a while, the classes got tiring. You know, I saw the screens of my friends, but I was too afraid to contact them. I don't know why I was afraid to reach them. Even though they're my friends. Like, I should have the confidence to at least say hi to them. Like, man, what the fuck, man? Meanwhile, while I was in Zoom class, I'd be playing Roblox Pizza Place, right? On my phone. Fucking talk to every one of my online friends. Motherfucker, I was a god there. But while I was in heaven, the phone was going through hell. Motherfucker, the moment you start up Roblox on your phone, it overheats like crazy. It's only Roblox. No other app does it like that. A bit off topic, but this is around the time I met Witch on Roblox. Yeah, our friendship goes as far as October 2020. Hey, and then this is where we met. Right here. Right there, right here. In the middle of 2021, before I started sophomore 10th grade, we moved again. But this time, we found a permanent home. That's right, guys. H-O-M-E, home. My mom moved a total of like 4 times during my childhood and 2 times during my teenhood. My sophomore year, I didn't have anyone to talk to because I didn't know anyone. Back in middle school, I had a lot of friends. I knew like half the school. Here in high school, I basically had to start over again. But I didn't want to start over. I wanted my old life back. I was fucking angry, lonely, sad. Every negative emotion you can think of, I was feeling in that. Early in the year, I was talking with a few people in Spanish class. It was like 2 girls and a dude, I think. So you can see that I kind of had potential here. Mainly because, oh my fucking god, seeing people after a year of solitude, let me touch your face. But since I don't know Spanish that well, I had to ask to move to another class, or else I struggle. After they moved me to another class, I just gave up socially. I didn't know how to make friends, and I didn't want to be anyone's friend. But somehow, I still was able to make friends. In sophomore year, I'd say I made like 2 people who would call friends. A kid named Aiden, and some Mexican dude I forgot the name of. Then later in the year, I was assigned a project with these two other dudes, a white dude and a black dude. This was in health class. I forgot their names, but I was cool with them. Yeah, motherfucker, I was struggling socially. I didn't even make any moves here to make new friends. They all approached me or some other reason why I talked with them. In junior year, 11th grade, my social circle would improve. There was this West African kid named John, and he wanted to be my friend. He moved to our school the year before, so I kind of knew the guy, since sophomore. But I didn't trust him at first, so I was kind of skeptical. Skeptical because the friendship just started like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, right? And I'm over here like, why did you choose me? Even though you know like half the school. After a while, we became good friends, and I started to like the dude. The motherfucker was fucking funny. He said that if I went to Africa, the fucking people would eat me. So to prevent that, he would fucking paint me black, and then I can't go into water because the paint will fucking wear off. Bro, you can't say that! Me and John had like 2 classes together. English, math, and then this doesn't count as a class, but I think a lunch. By the way, I had a fucking B in lunch. The fuck? How the fuck you get a B in lunch? The people I talked with in English class were, John, Bonnie Paul, and Krish. And then sometimes these other Mexicans and Hispanics, but I didn't connect with them because I felt like my Spanish and my culture wasn't as strong as theirs. So I felt disconnected from them. The only people I kind of relate to better is those 3 that I just mentioned. In math class, it's basically the same class because of the students, it's just different teachers. One day in early 2023, since me and John had a period study hall, both of us would get library passes to go to the library, duh. Once we were in the library, John introduced me to this Mexican Brazilian kid named Kevin. And not only that, 3 other motherfuckers, Francisco, Caleb, and then I forgot the name of that other dude. We would be goofing off, saying the most fucking out of pocket and horrible ass shit. Yo, and then fucking Francisco would be fucking making jokes, laughing loud as hell, and then sometimes he would be kicked out of the library because he was so fucking loud. During lunch period, it was me, John, and Kevin. And in that lunch period, I'll get to know Tyler a bit more. He was in my bus, so I kind of knew the guy, I think. I don't know, man. I don't really recall if we were good friends back then because my memory sucks arse. So yeah, all of us, we will all sit in the hallway with our backs against the wall, just camping there and shit. In the bus, it was me, Kevin, Tyler, and a girl named Skylar, and her brother Alex. Was there another person? I don't fucking know, bro. I swear to God, y'all could tell me like, remember this person? And then I'll be like, oh yeah. And then right there, you just fucking gaslight me. Yeah, bro, I don't fucking remember any of this shit. But you know what I do remember? Fucking Skylar roasts her brother saying that that he looks like the pizza that they serve at lunch. The worst part is I can see the resemblance. Now there was a friend that I made. This kid that be skipping history class like 90% of the time. His name was Charlie, and then we be dilly-dallying in there. I think this right here is like the most effort that I put into a high school friendship without like any outside help. Lastly, in senior year, 12th grade, I was still chilling with mostly the same people. Problem is, I barely had any classes with them. So I kinda had to survive on my own this time. I was the quiet kid still, just not as much, question mark. I had lunch period with John again, but now we have new people. We got Gabriel, Diana, Alan, and then some Mexican dude, I think his name was Alex. I swear to God, a lot of motherfuckers named Alex nowadays. Senior year is also when I started driver's ed. I started driving late, and I really hate the fact that I started driving at a later age. All the students were younger than me, so I felt out of place. I was 17 at the time, and there were like a couple 17-year-olds at the time, but my birthday was first in line. The reason I took driver's ed is because I knew that my mom wasn't going to put the effort into teaching me to drive. That's one thing I'm mad at her about. And then later in the school year, John introduced me to these 2 white Africans. They're both brothers. One's from Morocco, one is from Algeria. The Algerian one was called Muhammad, and then I don't know what the fuck the Moroccan one was. It was like some foreign name. Unfortunately, we didn't have lunch together. So the 4 of us, we would be chilling and sometimes walking in the hallways. We would be walking for a bit before first period started. Alright, I think that was all the people that I was friends with. My apologies if I forgot about you. When I look back through my high school years, I'm like, fuck. I regret not talking to enough people. I should have done more for myself. Like getting out of my comfort zone. I think the main reason I'm scared of talking with people is because I'm scared of acting like a fool and embarrassing myself. I was just fucking embarrassed of speaking up. And it wasn't just strangers, but friends too. Like I would struggle to tell my friend something. Even the smallest shit you can think of. Or a simple answer to something. I struggled and still struggle with that. Yeah, guys, I know. I was a fucking loser and I was a mess in high school. Barely had friends, barely talked, and I felt behind because of it. I hate when a high school memory suddenly appears in my mind and I'm like, fuck, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. I hate myself and I hate my life. I hate the person that I ended up being as. But John knowing half the school kind of pushed me to be a bit more social. And it led me to get to know a couple people. It didn't completely fix my confidence or get rid of my social anxiety, but what he did do was kind of alleviate those problems. But now I feel like shit because it's at the cost of me feeling guilty. Guilty that I never took the time to make the first move. John did the heavy lifting here socially, and now I don't feel independent when that's in my mind. And then the friendships don't feel authentic or real. Authentic in a sense where it feels more like a participation trophy rather than an actual trophy that I won. And real as in I don't trust my new friends as much. Like, why are you my friend anyways? Should I even trust you? Are you somehow using me in some way? I mean, that would be surprising because there's not much you can take from me. 10th grade was probably my worst year in high school. In 9th grade, I wasn't aware of the problems, so there was no judgment in my room. Like, who the fuck is gonna judge me? The left wall? But in 10th grade, the problems reveal themselves and they get amplified because now I'm surrounded by people. And I think that's when I got more aware that I was uncomfortable, insecure, and then now I will be comparing myself with other people. Like, oh, he did this, and here you are, just there. Even though my high school years sucked, I'd say 11 was one of the more better years for me socially. Social anxiety and confidence were still bad back then, but at least I had people, and I'm really thankful for that. By the time I graduated in 2024, I was already exhausted from school, but I was happy that I finally got some relief. Relief after years of attending school. My social circle got smaller, which is, expected. However, Kevin and Tyler would hang out with me, mostly because we live close to each other, so, hey, that's a plus after graduating. Everything seemed okay. I didn't know what to do in life, but I wasn't worried about that, I was just trying to live life. Go with the flow. Everything felt great. But then my mom wanted me to get a job almost as soon as I graduated. Motherfucker, no. Well, I mean, in this case, fatherfucker. I didn't get enough breathing room. Like, I would get a job, but we have so many problems with that. Is that one, I don't have my license so I can go anywhere. Two, even if I did have a license, my mom's car is not working. So, again, I can't go anywhere. 3, you already know this, I was afraid of talking with people. And 4, like I just said, I'm exhausted. All I need is time. Mainly because of my fear of people, I wouldn't even search for a job around this time. Instead, I just focus on editing Roblox videos for both of my channels, because that's when I was popping. That's when I had the most energy for my videos. However, my gaming passion would slowly get weaker and weaker because being stuck at home doing nothing does get, boring after a while. It didn't get boring immediately, but keep in mind, I've been playing Roblox daily since 2016-2017. So the years of me playing Roblox non-stop would eventually catch up to me sooner than later. But something about me changed during this time. In late September, I was still afraid of people, but since I was mostly bored at home and I needed something to do, for once in my life, something overpowered my fear with people. And that something is boredom. So I was like, fuck it, man. I need a fucking job. I don't care about these people no more, man. I need a damn job. Personally, I think that's how a lot of great shit happens, Because ironically, boredom is a very strong emotion. It usually overrides other emotions. And that shit fucking motivates you. Like, this caveman, like some caveman was probably like, I'm bored. Grabbed a couple sticks, was like, fucking around with them. And BAM! Ta-da! Me made fire! Or some shit. I don't remember the exact miles I had to apply, but I think I had to apply around a 5 to 10 mile radius. So in a way, I was kind of limited to what I can apply to. But then my mom got the car temporarily fixed, but still it could break down at any moment. So that's why I guess I was kind of limited. Now I applied to a fuck ton of jobs. Over 100 jobs between September through November. But I didn't get anything in return. My mom said to apply to more jobs. Keep searching. Jobs will only see you as a number. And in the real world, you gotta act fast. Because if they lay you off, the bills are not and will never wait for you to get a job. Look, she's right, but I don't know what the fuck I'm expecting. Maybe it's because I'm new to this job applying thing, but I feel like, I don't know, I should get at least a handful of interviews and phone calls to me. especially if those jobs are telling me loud and clear in bold, all caps, help wanted. We need someone in this position now. Out of what, like 100 jobs, stores, whatever, only only two jobs wanted to interview me. One in October and one in November. In October, Wendy's wanted to interview me. They scheduled it and everything. So on that day, I came to that Wendy's, all prepared and shit, you know, looking cute, looking sexy for the job. I went to the cashier, all confident and shit, and I said, I'm here for the interview. Can you get your manager? And she was like, yeah, I'll let my manager know you're here. Just take a seat. You know, I was sitting down waiting for like 5 to 10 minutes, right? Then the same cashier handed me a piece of paper telling me to write my name, number, email, whatever the fuck, and then they'll reach out to me. I mean, I already gave my info on the website, but you know, okay. Whatever gets me the job. Supposedly I didn't get an interview because the manager was busy or some shit. Okay, but you guys scheduled it? I don't know, maybe I'm stretching it when I say this, but that Wendy's right there, their management, to me is unprofessional. Like, motherfucker, I got ghosted right there. Nah, but really, I'm not mad about that. What I'm more mad about is that I could have known the fucking Krabby Patty secret formula. No, fuck. Yeah, cause during that time they had this fucking Krabby Patty collab type shit to celebrate the show being 25 years or whatever. In November, I applied to multiple jobs again, but then this time Home Depot finally responded back. I was scheduled for an interview. However, this time they actually did interview me, and this would be my actual first interview. You know, the hiring manager was asking the questions, I provided the answers, and then the interview went well, I guess. She said that they'll recruit more people so they can have a team to train, and that they'll reach back to me soon. At this point, this is where I made the most progress, and I was finally feeling good about myself. However, I didn't get the job, and I think it was my fault. I'll tell you why. So while writing the script, I was looking through my emails, you know, and I saw Home Depot saying something like, congratulations, you received your offer with Home Depot. No more interviews. Your order fulfillment job has been scheduled for tomorrow, November 22, 2024. Welcome to the Home Depot family. Brother, until right now, April 2026, I didn't know they reached back to me. All this time I thought they ghosted me, but in reality, I missed the email they sent me. It's been a year and a half of me not knowing that they reached back. This is like one of the fucking biggest what ifs in my life. Bro, I fucking cringed thinking. I cringed when I was thinking about that. I'm fucking stupid. Holy shit. Well, whatever though. That's in the past. Back to the story. A couple weeks after Home Depot interviewed me, this is when I started feeling hopeless and feeling like I was out of options. You know, I didn't know what to do in life. I was lost. Now see, I could have gone to work at O'Hare because I know someone who could hire me quick, but I was going to use that as a last resort. Look, I don't know how hard the work is there, but I heard it's like so high demand and high pressure, especially if it's like one of the busiest airports globally. Present day might enjoy the work, but I don't think I could say the same about 2024 me. Finally, in December, I was still applying, but then I applied to this one job, right? I applied to like 2 or 3 of their stores. A couple of days later, I received a call from one of their stores, and then another call. I don't remember the full thing, but when I went to the interview, the hiring manager asked to read my application and asked me about my availability. And then boom! Hired in like 10 minutes. Now hold on a fucking minute. All this fucking time wasting applying to random stores, and all I needed to do was apply to this store. Life is so fucking... it's fucking weird sometimes. Also, I'm not gonna mention the store cause I like not dying, but I will tell you this. I got hired as a part-time bagger and cart pusher for the front end department. The first couple of days working, this lady was training me. But I mean, it was less of actual training and more of her explaining, you know, legal shit and me completing tasks on the computer. After that finished, it was time for me to bag. Oh yeah. I was nervous the first day I'm working, but I was relieved that I finally got the job. That first day was torturous cause I didn't know what the fuck to do. I mean, yeah, you know, soup cans in the bottom and then the box of cookies on top. Cookie. But it was more me trying to be more comfortable and certain that I know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, and then what was it? Like 3rd or 4th order, I think. This old dude, I was bagging his groceries. Motherfucker sees a 19-year-old bagger, looks at me with a straight face and is like, I used to be a bagger just like you. Now look at me. rich and famous. What the fuck? That's like some fucking foreshadowing right there. Even though I was titled as bagger, I liked pushing carts more. Basically, my work is just 50% bagging, 50% carting, if that's even a word. After a while working there, I would be comfortable to say that I was good at bagging and pushing carts. And listen, the only reason that I say that is because the rest of the workers fucking suck. Some of the baggers will call in sick often or not even show up. So, the manager will have to call me in to take their place. Most of the time, I'd say, yeah, sure, I'll clock in. I think I was one of the first options because, like I said, I was good at the job and he saw me as reliable and would call me in the rest of the year that I was bagging. Motherfucker, when I tell you I fucking dominated, I will show you the reason why I dominated. I get comments saying I'm a fast bagger and a better bagger compared to the other workers. And that I'm also good at clearing the lot. I get mostly all, if not all, the carts in the store in that same hour. Around February, near Valentine's Day, my manager told me to come up to her office for 2 reasons. Me? Office? The first reason is that they want me to work with this other dude that I was cool with. To put up some flower displays, make it look pretty. Hey, this one was fun, I'm not gonna lie. Then, the other reason is that she wanted to promote me already. Damn, what? I've been here like not even 2 months and you already want me to be cashier? Do you even know what my GPA is? I then told her, no, I do not want to be a cashier. I said I wanted some sort of like stocking job. The reason I don't want to be a cashier is, it looks torturous. Standing in one spot for 8 hours a day. And then dealing with rude ass customers that are trying to save like 13 cents. And then the other reason, which is my main reason I don't want to do it, is that I'm afraid I might fuck up and miscount the money. Yeah, but anyway, she said that we don't have a position open for a stocking job. Which I think she was referring to the grocery department. They just hired someone for grocery. Damn! Okay, that's fine. And since I was part-time, I'd get around 16 hours a week on average. Let's fabricate a work schedule for me right here. You got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then, things I liked about being in front end are the people. At this point, my confidence is like 5 times better than it was in high school. I'd be talking with the customers, the employees, the managers, and that helped me a lot. This is also where I met my coworker Brian, but I'll talk about him in a bit. And then some of my managers, supervisors were alright, but who I would say my favorite were these 3 managers who I'll give them fake names. Let's call them I don't fucking know, Eduardo, Rebecca, Charlotte. Eduardo was probably like my favorite because he saw me as reliable and would be the one who would call me in like 90% of the time. So I'd get my extra hours from him. Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it. And then Rebecca, she was nice to me and said that I'm one of the few workers that does the work on time. Hey, I liked her. She was cool. And then Charlotte, Charlotte, I don't fucking know. She was one of the more chill and laid back managers. Oh, what? There was like 5 cars left in the parking lot? Nah, you're good. The morning people will handle it. Shit like that is like why I liked her. Another thing I liked is pushing carts. Sure, bagging is, I guess, good. But the carts are great. Especially when there's a lot. Because it keeps me busy. I like to work with jobs that are, more hands-on. And pushing carts is a great start to that shit. And as horrible as it seems, I like to work in harsh weather. In the winter, when the temperatures are in the single digits, maybe in the negatives, I enjoy it. In the summer where the temperatures are pushing 80s, 90s, I don't know about you, but I like it. While out of work, I would be hanging out with my best friends, Kevin and Tyler. We would be, walking around at night in the neighborhood, talking, joking around. And then after that, all 3 of us would hold hands, look each other in the eyes, and then we would French kiss. With a little bit of Spain and a little bit of Belgium in it. I'm gonna be honest, man, it took months, up to years to fully trust them. But right now, I can say safely that they're my best friends. And I don't know why, but like, there's a certain charm with me just walking daily, hanging out with my 2 best friends, while also being part-time. It's probably because, at the time it was simple. It was simple life right there. But now, there are things that I hated about working as a bagger. Clock in times, the hours would be ranging from like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So whatever 4 to 8 hours you can fit on there, I have been working on that. The hours could be clean and symmetrical, consistent, like 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then the next day, it would be some fucking random ass abomination like fucking 10:15 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And And even worse, they'll give me schedules where I work 2 days in a row, one at night, and then the next day in the morning. Like, let's say Saturday I leave 10 p.m. the latest I can work. But then Sunday, I gotta get there by 7 a.m. the earliest I can be there. This one I don't really mind that much, but it's more of like, it's like, what the fuck? It's weird. For my non-cart bagging tasks, I would say my favorite job would be overstock, which is basically things that customers decide at the last minute, nah, I don't want these Doritos, they're too expensive. But my least favorite job was collecting trash from the registers, cleaning the break room, and cleaning the bathrooms. Motherfucker, look, I had to clean a public toilet with shit smeared all over it. I don't know who it was, but that customer who made that mess did it on purpose. It was obvious. They picked up their own shit and they spread it all over the toilet seats, on the walls. I don't know who you are, but I will fucking find you. Look, thankfully I got off easy, cause this is basically nothing. You know, I heard horror stories of cleaning bathrooms, including this bathroom, and my horror story does not compare to what others had to deal with. You know what? My life may not be bad after all. Lastly, feeling immature. I'm thankful that I had the job, but I was feeling immature. Cause being a 19-year-old bagger, it just doesn't seem right. Like when I first heard I was hired as a bagger, it didn't even sound real. It sounds like some made up job. And so I wanted something more mature sounding than bagger. Like a stocking type of job, you know, like I told my manager. In late July, around like 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., you know, I was just bagging, doing my work, minding my own business, and then something crazy happened that same hour. Two people came up to me, a manager for the grocery department and the store director. They both walked up to me, hit me with this move right here on screen, and they told me that they have a position to offer me. They asked if I wanted to move in the back and do grocery. They said they would give me more hours and that I would stock things like eggs, milk, among other shit. I forgot what I said, but I think I said yeah. Look, I was really nervous and I kind of stumbled on my words a bit. Yeah, so I told them in like the most nervous way that I'm available in the afternoons. A few days passed while I was bagging. One of the cashiers asked me, hey, they're training you for grocery? I saw your name on the schedule. I was shocked. I was confused. I made it? However, guys, I'm not alone in this grocery journey thing. Because they also had my coworker Brian working in the back too. You know, I asked him how was it, and he said that it was easy. He just needed time to get used to it. My guess is they asked him a couple weeks before me, so he's technically a couple days more experienced in grocery than I am. The reason they recruited us is because two people from the back left. But my theory is I think they just fired them because I heard they sucked at their job. So what do Mexicans like me and Brian do? That's right, we took their place and we stole their jobs. Because apparently that's what the Mexican stereotype is. We take people's jobs. Motherfucker, out of like the 11 people in the back, it's like a ratio between 7 Hispanics and 4 whites. You know, I was surprised that so little people work in grocery. But I think it's the 4 people working night shift that be doing the magic in keeping the store full. And then we also have 2 managers. I don't know if I can call them. I'll call them Paul, and then I call the other one Hugo, I guess. Alright kids, it is around August 2025 now, a month before I turn 20. It is the first day of working grocery. This dude named Sam, a 17-year-old kid at the time, he would train me on shit, tell me what to do, show me the tips and tricks, and whatever else you can think of. Since this was 19-year-old me, I was still the same person, scared of meeting people. I was a bit, afraid to start a conversation with Sam. But after a while of working with that dude, I was like, you know what? I fuck with this dude. He is hilarious. He be saying the most outrageous and most out of pocket shit. Since I kind of knew Brian when he was working as a cashier, it was easier to talk with him. So, I didn't have a problem with him. Yeah, guys, I became good friends with Sam and Brian. And on top of that, I see, all 3 of us, we were good at our jobs. Or at least I like to believe so. I mean, one of the only proofs that I have is that sometimes our manager, Paul, he would gift us by paying for our stuff sometimes. Hey, to me, that's enough. So what do I do in my department? We control most of the aisles. Mainly, we control aisles 1 through 19, the milk and juice wall, and then those freezers at the front. Yeah, we put ice in that. Whatever food items you can think of, we mostly stock those. I mean, it's in the name, grocery. You eat your groceries. Since I'm hired for the afternoons here, I also face frozen aisles, which is 12 and 13. The juice wall and the bread during like the second half of my shift. Basically what facing is, you bring the first couple products to the front of the shelf to make the shelves look full and for the people to reach it with ease. Alright guys, let's fabricate a fake schedule. Yeah. We are scheduled 2 people a day. It could be me and Sam for a day. It could be me and Brian for a day. Or it could be Sam and Brian for a day. But let's say that I work on Wednesday with Brian. When I clock in around 5, me and Brian go straight to the water aisle and start counting them waters. We go to the back and we start to put the waters that we need on the U-boat. And then after we're done with that, we stock the eggs and the milk. Now see, I check milk every 30 to an hour because that shit runs out fast. Like, it's crazy. You know, 1 minute you fill the milk, and then in 10 minutes, half your work is gone because someone wanted 10 gallons of milk. I'm not saying who, but I think we all know who it was. Then after we're all done with that, we either do the grocery load, backstock, which is stock that was full, so we store it until the shelves have space. They never do. Or whatever the manager tells us to do. You know, we do that for an hour, and then we take our 15-minute break. After we head back down, we both face the frozen aisles during the last 2 to 3 hours of our last shift. That's right. I work in the cold, I also sleep in the cold, and I live in the cold. Yo, it's a perfect environment for me. Cause fall and winter, they're both my favorite seasons, I swear to God. But yeah, the both of us are scheduled to 9, but most of the time we stay till 10. You know, when I was afternoon worker, I face aisle 12, which is ice cream and breakfast aisles. While Brian, he faces aisle 13, which is like TV dinners, pizza, and vegetables. For some reason, I've always faced aisle 12 while Brian and Sam do 13. What do they face when I'm not working? I don't know, but I like to believe that they fight for the ice cream. After we finish facing frozen, we grab a cart for the damaged and expired shit. When we're facing, we also check the yogurt and the juice dates. We throw away food that expires in like 3 days. After we're done facing yogurt, we check the juice wall. We call it the juice wall, but it's juice, cheese, eggs, among other shit that needs refrigeration. On days where me and Sam would be working, we would be finding like 1 to 3 carts of expired shit. You know, thank God me and Sam started checking dates because we found a lot of out of date shit. After we're done with that, we face the end caps, the bread, and the milk. With the exception of the milk, sometimes me and Sam don't do the other 2. But you know who does? Our boy Brian, you know, he saves the day. And then when we finish our jobs, we celebrate by holding hands, and then we French kiss each other with a little bit of Spain and a little bit of Belgium. Oh yeah. Rinse and repeat the process with Sam and Brian for like 4 to 5 months. And yeah, I noticed that over time, I got way more confident working in the back than I was as a bagger. Now, this is where I'd officially say that I love my job. You know, like the title says, ooh, yo, that was clever, guys. Right, and the reason I love this job is for the simple fact that I have more freedom and I have more confidence here. You know, the managers are great and laid back. The work here makes me feel like I have purpose. I like working with my coworkers, joking around with them. And then I walk and I carry a lot. So, you know, that's exercise for me. And then, you know, I like helping out customers. Oh, where's this? That's aisle that. And then when it's busy, you don't feel the impact of the people that much. The pallets mainly dictate how busy the day is. We now move to January 2026. Sam is 18, I'm 20, Brian is 22. And then we also have a new guy. We call him Ozzy. Motherfucker, he's fucking tall. So around this time is when I really wanted to make a change. And I have been wanting to make a change for a while. A couple weeks after the start of the year, I asked Paul for more hours, but when asking for more hours didn't work, I was like, fuck it, man. I'm going all the way in, no diddy, and asking for full time. If I did 8 hours of school, then for sure I can survive 8 hours of working. So then I asked my other manager, Hugo, to tell the director that I wouldn't become full time. I mean, shit, you know, even the store owner suggested it. Then the day comes. I asked the director myself, and he said, sure, but you gotta work 2 morning shifts so I can see how you do. And I was like, morning shifts? Hey, sure, man, even better. Hopefully it fixes my whack sleep schedule. I asked for full time because before, my life was the same shit over and over again. I was already getting bored staying in my room doing nothing all day. You know, I said before, I don't have anything to do at home anymore. All I do is exist and waste time. I don't even feel happy playing games anymore. Since 2024, I haven't been enjoying them as much because I would be forcing myself to play games for views, which is a bad idea because it made me hate it even more. Even though tomorrow isn't here yet, I fucking hate tomorrow because yesterday was just like today. Wake up at 2 p.m. feeling guilty, work for 5 hours, not feeling like it's enough, go home and watch YouTube the rest of the day, and then struggle to fall asleep at 4 a.m. And I needed a change already. So then in February, I officially became a full-time morning stalker. The typical schedule for me would look like this right here on screen. And since I moved to the morning, I would mostly see Sam, Brian, and Ozzy when I leave work. On rare occasions, I would be working with them. So the people that I work with now are two guys that are older than me. I'll call them Dairyman and Frozen Man, because I want to keep their lives private and because it's fucking hilarious. They sound like superheroes. I'm grocery, but when I move to mornings, the work is more dairy and frozen focused. When I clock in, usually Mr. Dairyman, he hands me like 1 to 3 U-boats of yogurt for me to stock. While Dairyman, he stocks the cheese. After I'm done with yogurt, I then go in the cooler and stock the milk. And then he does the juice. After that, I take my 30-minute and join up with Mr. Frozen Man. To do some frozen shit like pizzas, vegetables, ice creams, all that good shit. And then after I'm done with that, I had to figure out what I gotta do. Most of the time, I just do overstock, check eggs and milk, organize the milk cooler, and then in the last hour of my shift, I check dates. Oh, and who could forget, making the end caps look cute for our weekly deals. Or, sometimes the director, he kidnaps me and says shit like, can you break down these paper pallets and then break this water pallet down? Thanks, papi. Blow me a kiss. One time I was breaking down a pallet with aisle 1 through 7 things, and then the receiving manager, she was telling me, wow, you're really fast, you don't play around. And I was like, I am? And she was like, to me you are. Gives me another reason why I like the job. So that explains the I love my job part. But what about the I hate my life part? In other words, if everything is looking great for you, then what's the problem here? Well, yeah, you see, the main problem with me is I think, keyword think, because I'm still figuring myself out, but I think it all comes down to me feeling like I'm not enough. And you can kind of see that feeling echo into my earlier essays. It's more obvious in part 2, I hate myself, and part 4, motivation procrastination. But yeah, I feel like I'm not enough and I'm always craving more for myself. Well, what is that not enough feeling? It's been months and I have already adjusted and got comfortable with being full-time, but I still want more for myself. Specifically, I want to feel like a grown-up. I don't feel masculine or manly enough. For a while, I thought I was vulnerable to like fucking alcoholism or maybe sex addiction once I get the confidence to cope with my masculinity. But then recently, in the middle of writing this essay, it hit me. And I realized the more likely option has been in front of my face the whole time. That is that I'm way more vulnerable to being a work addict than the other two options by a large margin. Like, I have to think about staying at work for more than 40 hours a week or having a second job. On my days off, I'm like, fuck, I don't have anything better to do. I'd rather fucking work instead. I don't have anything to do at home, and working is a way to get rid of that boredness. Like, they could ask me to work 10, 12-hour shifts 7 days in a row, and I'd fucking accept it. 8 hours usually doesn't feel enough for me. Now, see, you might be thinking I'm saying that because I want money. Motherfucker, no. I don't make that much money. And I don't care that much about money. But if it really was for the money, I would have left that job a long time ago. But yeah, they won't make me work over 40 hours because they will only give us 40 hours max. It's only on rare occasions where they let us do that. The only time they gave me more than 40 was recently mid-May to early June. And so I made this thing on fucking Google Slides. Look, I don't have a script for this. I'm gonna try to like freestyle it or some shit. No, I'm not gonna fucking rap. I mean, like, I'm gonna improvise. I don't fucking know. Alright, so here, May 10 to May 13, it's normal, right? But I want to talk specifically about 5/15 through 6/10. May 15 through May 20, that's 6 days of work straight, right? And then we have a normal work week, 1 day off, 1 day work, 1 day off, until we get to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of work. A day off. Just so you know, I didn't have time to relax that day. I was fucking busy that day too. So then we go to Friday, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now see, Thursday, June 11. Oh, that was a fucking good relaxing. Oh yeah, y'all may be asking what the fuck the colors mean. If you've been paying attention, the blue here, the light blue, that's the work that I've been scheduled. Like right here, I was scheduled 8 hours. The purple is I stayed overtime. I was scheduled 6, I stayed another 2. So that makes it 8. The orange, I was called in or had to take over someone's shift. Now see, the dark blue right here is pretty interesting. I was supposed to be working 8 hours until my manager said, like, since you're taking over this guy's shift on Saturday, you're about to work overtime. We're gonna have to cut one of your days in half. So I was supposed to work 44 here, but I was working 40. Now right here, I put total hours, 44, 40, 44, 40, 40. And just so you know, this I think this went unnoticed for a bit until like around here. And this week they had to like talk to me about it. Again, 40 is kind of like the limit here, so they will only give us 40. So 44 is fucking rare, because I guess they pay me more. No, yeah, around these 2 months I fucking got ripped off. Because look, let's say this was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let me pull out my calculator. It's like what? 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 8 plus 4. That right there is 54 hours in a week. So technically I was 14 hours overtime, but officially that's 44. Yeah, I was upset they cut my day in half, because I was ready. I was ready to work my ass off. And just so you know, I was heavily editing this when I got off work. So yeah, that was the most active that I've ever been. And I liked it. Sometimes I get bored at work and don't know what's left to do. But I'd rather be bored at work than be bored at home. I mean, I know what's left to do, because usually there's endless things to do at the store. But the problem is distributing the same work between 11 to 13 other people. Like, I could do the work, but then that would be selfish of me. Because what the fuck are the other workers gonna do? They won't have shit to do either. I gotta be more considerate. The first couple months I was working as bagger, I remember this one dude told me to not overwork myself. And I want to keep that true, right? Because everybody needs a healthy balance. Like, yeah, we humans are really capable and can endure a lot. But at the end of the day, we're still humans. We are not machines. Our bodies have limits. Yeah, that's the other reason I asked to be full-time. And the other reason, because I felt threatened by Brian and Sam. Not like I am scared that they might do something to me, but I mean like they do more than me. They work a decent amount of hours while still in school. Both of them are part-time while being in school and college. But me? Nah, motherfucker, I was just part-time. I used to get 20 hours while they would get more than me. Compared to both, I did feel immature and behind. It's a really weird feeling to have, having a job while feeling like you're unemployed at the same time. And it's the fact that I got my job at 19, my first job ever. While Sam and Brian, they've been working since they were young, like 16 or 17. Like, to me, it seems like everyone in life knows what they're doing. But me? I don't know. Me being full-time gives me the illusion of advancing in life, Bro, and then it's not just that, right? I was also fearing that I might get laid off and fired. Because cutting hours is a sign of that. And I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm stuck at home doing nothing. I don't ever want to let myself go. Because even on my days off, I become really fucking lazy and neglect myself. I want stability and routine. And my job serves as the anchor of my life. It keeps me out of the cycle where I'm hating myself and I hate my life. Yeah, I know. I'm aware that I'm trying to compensate for that lonely, that lost, regretful, and immature feeling that I always get. And I really don't know how to get rid of that. But I need to figure this shit out by myself. I don't want outside help. What I want is independence. It's my problem, not yours. I don't know, that's basically like the history and evolution of my confidence in school and work. I'm somewhat in a comfortable spot, but I still need help with my confidence. The next two sections are about a talk I had with a friend, and then I'll talk about areas in my life where I need improvement. Okay, now let's talk about a conversation that I had with a friend. I don't recall much about this day, but from what I remember, it was nighttime. And I was working on a script for motivation procrastination. Tyler called me, by the way, not the Tyler that I was talking about earlier, but a different Tyler. We call him Military Tyler for obvious reasons. So yeah, Military Tyler, he called me on Snapchat while I was in the bathroom doing side quests. Now I don't remember what he said, but I assume that he said something like, "Get your ass in my truck now!" And I told him, "No, I can't, I'm taking a shit. Give me a couple minutes." He's like, "Okay, you better be ready in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go buy some cigarettes." After we finish doing a thing, he drives back and picks me up. I thought it was gonna be like our usual hangout, where it's like the 3 of us to the 6 of us doing stupid shit. Me, Kevin, Calvin, both Tylers, and Kevin's brother Gio. Apparently it was a last minute planned hangout, so it turned out to just be a day with me and Military Tyler. I got into his truck and I think he asked me on what I was busy with, because I think I told him I was busy. So I told him that I was writing about an essay on motivation. I was being vague about it because this was around the time that I wasn't comfortable opening up. Hence why I'm still doing these videos. He was repeatedly telling me, "Come on, tell me what's wrong." Kind of like forcing me to open up. So then I'm like, okay, there is a lot of things that I don't have motivation on. You know, I procrastinate on this, I procrastinate on that type of shit. And then Tyler's like, I get you, I feel that too. There's days where I don't feel motivated, even though when I want to do something. After he said that, I'm like, damn. Okay, look, like, I wouldn't say that he's someone I look up to, but like, he's a stereotypical masculine figure. He's in the military, knows a lot of shit about cars, and he even gets bitches on his dick. So, you know, me hearing that he struggles with motivation too, I'm like, holy fuck. Holy shit. Like, some part of me feels better, because now I can fully confirm that I'm no longer alone in this. But at the same time, worried, because if a person like him is struggling, we're all fucked. After a bit of driving around, we parked in the 7-Eleven parking lot and talked about confidence. I don't remember how it went, but we were already talking about how I need to work on my confidence and how I talk with people. And he's like, I got that problem too, but I fake my way through it. And then he's saying shit like, talking is a skill, and if you go a long time without socializing, you will lose that skill. Everything is a muscle, including talking, and you have to use that muscle to your advantage. Like, look, I already knew confidence was just like a mask, but I think I just needed to hear it. It's just that thought was always in the back of my mind, but it's the fact that he's revealing it to me. It's like, wow. Like, imagine it like this. It's like a magician doing his trick. You know it's fake, but still you don't know how it's performed until he personally shows you the trick and how to do it. Right? You know, it's kind of like that. When we both finished what we were talking about, he wanted to put me to the test and wanted me to socialize so I can get my confidence up. Look, I'm afraid of people still, and I'm not the one to start the conversation. He told me to go start a conversation with the old guy working in the 7-Eleven. But motherfucker, as much I hate to admit, I couldn't start a conversation with the old man. I froze. My mind went blank, and I failed. That's right, guys. I failed at confidence. However, he did bring my confidence up in a different way, and that was opening up. Like, yeah, I opened up to some people before, but this was the most that I've ever opened up to someone in person. The second most that I've opened up was this conversation that I had with an online friend from Iowa. This was what, 2022, 2023? I don't fucking know. You know, they be acting goofy, playful, and would be creating weird shit like this, and this, and even this.
Assistant, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get started for you today?
So, you know, seeing them being all serious with me, saying that this is what they gotta deal with, is a whole mood shift. It's a whole new perspective. You know, it's like, this is the things that I do, and this is why. It's like, what? I never seen this side of you. Same with Tyler. I've never seen this side of him. After Tyler dropped me off, I kind of reflected a bit. Again, like, I already knew everything he told me already, but I never had the chance to, like, think it through deeply, you know? And now that he said it, it brings those thoughts to the top of my mind. A few weeks later, while I was stocking the yogurt, my manager Paul, he saw my shopping cart full of empty boxes, and he was like, hey, why not break down these empty boxes? It'll make your life easier. And I told him, man, you're right. While he was kind enough to break down the boxes for me, he said, I'm not. I'm just saying things to make it sound like I know what I'm doing. Fuck! Cause he's another masculine figure. You know, he's muscular, sounds confident and shit, but maybe he's joking. I don't know, because his humor is sarcasm. But him saying that he says things to sound like he knows what he's doing kind of brought me back to the conversation that I had with Tyler. Well, who knows if he's joking or not. New perspective right there, you know? Like, damn, a new perspective on my manager. Life is crazy. Alright, this final section is about things that I need to work on. Things I need more confidence in so I can have an easier life. Also, I'm trying this fucking weed drink. Bro, it's fucking weird. I don't fucking know. Number one is driving. Man, I must read like lists, cause what the fuck. Like I said earlier, I started driving when I was 18 in senior year. But during that year, the shit I learned wasn't sticking into my mind that well. Info will kind of just vanish a couple weeks after I learned it. You know, I can't retain info that well, so it all goes over my head. At 19, that is when I got my job. You know, my mom would finally help me with driving. Sometimes she'd take the wheel, sometimes I'd take the wheel. But like during the time driving, I have made some risky mistakes. My mom would of course get mad, understandably. But then, you know, after I made those mistakes, I'm like, you know, I gotta keep those memories in mind permanently. You know, I do not want to fucking die. Especially with my life currently, No, I do not. I do not want to die. No, thank you. At 20, it wouldn't be until I moved to grocery department where I would finally drive by myself. Yes, I gained the confidence to drive by myself, but I still got nervous sometimes. Like, am I doing this right? Am I even driving correctly? I don't fucking know. Am I even adulting correctly? Like, right now, I'd say I'm a decent driver, but still, I need to get comfortable, and I gotta focus a lot on the road more than usual because I get distracted easily and I fucking zone out quickly. Yeah, it's fucking horrible. Around nighttime, if we are driving around as a friend group, I let my friend Kevin take the wheel. Cause 1, I don't drive as much as Kevin does. 2, I can't fucking see shit at night. Now see, that's why I have trouble. That's why I have trouble with driving. It's the sight. It's the sight and the focus that I lack. And I just barely noticed it now. That's why I suck at driving. What was it, like late April, when I was driving home after like a 1 to 9 p.m. shift? I had trouble seeing the road. You know, the same route that I always take from going from work to home. And I was a bit nervous because I couldn't see jack shit. You know, I was fucking struggling looking into the darkness while simultaneously getting blinded by the lights, the headlights, all at once. I was gonna mention my driving in part 2, I hate myself, but by then I already started to drive, so thankfully, yes, in some way I improved. Alright, number 2, Spanish. Unfortunately, I gotta work on my Spanish, cause now that I work, I gotta speak to more Spanish speakers. For some reason, my mom was like, you know Spanish, but I told her multiple times, no, I'm not really fluent in Spanish. Yeah, I understand Spanish, but when it comes to actually speaking it, then I only know the basic words. And you know this, ma. The other day, she was like, how the fuck it went? She said the word Castillo, and I'm like, what does it mean? What the fuck does it mean? It means castle, by the way. And she was fucking surprised. Like, what the fuck? What you mean? To my stepdad, she was like, he doesn't know what Castillo means. I'm sorry? You're surprised about something that you know very well that I struggle with? Do you even know your own son? And then, you know, it's worse with family. It doesn't happen that much, but when I try to speak Spanish, they all fucking laugh at me. And then it's not like until like the 20th time that when I use that word, they'll correct me. That shit brings me down, man. And it makes me not want to talk Spanish no more. You know, I'm really self-conscious when they fucking laugh at me. When I was working with Sam and Brian, I got more comfortable with my Spanish. But it's not like an actual conversation in Spanish. It's more like goofy shit that we say in Spanish. Sam, the first time I met him, you know, he was pushing the milk forward while we were facing the milk. And he was repeating, lechita, lechita. Now, when we're sucking the eggs, huevitos, huevitos. And then fucking cremita, cremita, quesito, quesito, agüita, agüita. Both Sam and Brian know more Spanish than me. So if I don't understand a Spanish speaking customer, hey, I'll step out of the way, cause they got me. Still, they got Spanish problems of their own, but I'm worse, cause they're like first generation Mexicans. Well, I'm technically second generation Mexican. My manager Hugo, he has the same problem. He's like second generation. You know, he's like me. But now I'm in the mornings, meaning it's less about teamwork and more about independent work here, which, you know, is fine. But Spanish is something that I'm lacking, cause now I gotta fend for myself. Let me show you how I handle these Spanish conversations in the store. So a customer walks up to me and he's brown as fuck, and then the customer is like, "Hablas español?" And I say, "Poquito," with the fucking hand movement. Y me dicen, "¿Dónde está el vinagre?" Or some random shit, I don't know. And then my response is, "Está en tres." You know, I fucking pointed to it. And no, I do not know what aisle is in Spanish. Maybe it's pasillo, but like I'm a little hesitant to use it. And you know, I don't know if what I just said in Spanish was grammatically correct. I'm always second guessing, third guessing myself when it comes to Spanish. You know, again, I understand Spanish, it's just that speaking it, nah, that's the problem there. The grammar and the placement are the bigger barriers when it comes to my Spanish. Like, you know, yeah, I know you use la for some words, but my default goes to el. La avena está... No. It's la. La avena. Half the time, I succeed in the conversation. Like this one time, I was with an older Colombian dude. You know, we were talking, walking through the aisles. He was asking me, ¿De dónde estás? ¿De qué parte en México tus papás nacieron? Some shit like that, you know. Hopefully what I said was correct in Spanish. You know, I'm practicing right now, right here. So go soft on me. Near the end, I wasn't understanding him, but he already knew beforehand my Spanish ain't that good. Now see that right there, even with faults, that is good conversation right there. That's good conversation material. And then the other half, oh fuck no. They be asking for some shit that I don't even know the name of in Spanish. A customer walks up to me, pulls out their phone. Thank God I put phone, but yeah. And then they ask me, ¿de dónde está esto? Now see, the esto being queso, a quesito, as Sam would say. Brother, I forgot what was in Spanish. As if it wasn't worse, I wasn't sure to use mantequilla as the word for butter. You know what I just said? I said it's near el butter, while fucking using my hands to try to say it wall. Fucking whore! Okay, yes. Number 3, socializing. Now we're back to the main topic once more. I know I said that I'm anxious around people, but now that I recall, I don't think I explained on what I do or act when I'm around people. So in a social setting, I don't know how to act. Like, I pretty much had to learn a lot of it by myself, and I still need help, guys. I still need help. Okay, how do I word? Okay, how do I do this paragraph? Okay, you see, I'm like our boy Calvin. I'm like Calvin when he first bought that pink sweater at the mall, and then she was like, dude buys a sweater and doesn't know how to act. You see, I'm like Calvin. I don't know how to act, except this time my pink sweater was stripped away from me, so now I really don't know how to act. What the fuck? Man, that was a fucking goofy ass sentence. When meeting with someone for the first time, I freeze. I act awkward, clueless, and more noticeably, I avoid eye contact. Like, either they gotta approach me first so I can feel safer to talk, or maybe if I'm brave enough, I try to make the first move. And then here's something that I noticed. Conversations are like bonfires. Every word you say and every word you respond back with is a stick added to the bonfire. So then that fire gets bigger. AKA, the conversation keeps on flowing smoothly. Then when I'm actually having a good conversation, suddenly there will be times where I don't know what to say. My mind goes blank. No brain activity there. I mean, as if there was any to begin with. Which now means the fire dies out faster. You know what I'm saying? And then we all get colder. And that coldness represents loneliness. I don't know, just pretend I said something deep. And then when it comes to small talk and manners, there's people who be greeting me like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. And what the fuck do I say now? Do I ask them how are they? Am I even doing this right? I don't know. I mean, I default by just saying I'm good. How are you? I mean, even that sounds unnatural to me. You know, and in my mind I'm like, am I being mean? Will they hate me for this? Man, I don't know. It makes me feel like an asshole sometimes. It's only with strangers and people I'm not familiar with though. You know, I try to say good morning, thank you, please, excuse me, sorry, that kind of shit when needed the most. It doesn't make it better that I'm naturally quiet and forget to say like half of those little shits. I forgot to mention this. In high school, when I had my braces, I was afraid to like take these bands off. It was the rubber bands for the braces, and then when the braces got removed, it was the retainers. So I would not eat, bro. You know, cause I felt judged. I don't know why. I believe someone was watching me or some shit. Yeah, it was really bad. Nowadays at work, I try not to give a shit. You know, cause fuck what other people think. It's life. You will always be judged, no matter what. Like, motherfucker, I'll eat a whole ass KFC bucket like a fat ass if I wanted to. You know, that's how confident I became. Haha, I'm eating good and you're not. When I was in high school, I didn't like to be in groups, so I just wanted to work by myself. So mostly I was alone. Nowadays, I try to ask for more help because I'm overly independent at the moment. You know, I try to ask for help when needed, like, you know, like an ice cream pallet when we're stocking the ice cream. We take it out to the middle of the aisle, so you need another person for that, or else the ice cream will melt, you know? Or, you know, lifting up a pallet, because sometimes those pallets are heavy. Like, I try to be louder, I try to sound more confident. And if you ever see me not talking or communicating with you, know that I'm not doing it to, like, diss you or some shit. I'm doing it because I already had been conditioned to not talking. To me, talking is like one of those things where it's easier said than done, literally, you know? And I am sorry in advance for that. Like, I grew up as a quiet kid, and now as an adult, I'm trying to reverse that. I mean, in a way, I did kind of get more louder in speaking. You know, it was one time, me and my friend Tyler, you know, we were talking, and then the topic of my 2023 videos came up. Mainly the speech, because while watching the videos from that year, I was listening to myself talking. You know, I was talking all slow. I was talking awkward in those videos. It's a noticeable shift compared to now. And that right there is a good sign that I'm making progress. Number 4, trusting myself. I hesitate on a lot of things, and I overthink shit, which makes me pause and don't know what to do. Like, I'm over here overthinking shit, even though it's a simple choice or answer. No, motherfucker. I know. I need to like minimize hesitation. I'll give you an example that I gotta deal with. One time at work, this was the moment where I was like, okay, I need to stop thinking and start doing. While I was working with Brian, we were both facing yogurt. Let's say the date during that time is November 5, and the yogurt expires on the 8th. But we received the yogurt and stocked it on November 1. Basically meaning the new yogurt that they sent us had less than a week on the shelves. And I was debating whether to pull the yogurt off the shelves or to keep it there. So I needed a second opinion. I didn't want it to go to waste. I asked Brian, and he said, I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's expired. It's up to you, really. Fuck, you're right. He's right, guys. No matter how you look at it, it is what it is. And I gotta pull it out of the shelves. After that moment, for a lot of decisions, mostly work related, I tried to act more rather than overthink a situation. Like an example being, I don't want to do this key load, but I will do it, because if I keep putting one thing on a shelf one by one, that lazy feeling will leave and turn to relief. Or even worse, overstock in the freezers, because most of it doesn't go out, but I still do it anyways, because there's always that small chance that it'll go out, right? At work, when someone asks me where something is, where is the coconut water? I pull out my phone, I search it up, and I'm like, let me check. Even though I know where the coconut water is, I'm trying to do less of that, because I've been working with the aisles for almost a year now. So by now, I should know it by heart. I should know where most things are. In real life, I don't know why I'm saying real life, like work isn't in real life. I mean like real life outside of work, you know what I mean? Yeah, outside of work, I feel off. After some brainstorming, I got 2 examples. The first example is I feel off when I'm using my credit card. I was never taught how to use that piece of plastic. It's easy, but then I'm like, is this how you use a credit card? After I pay for my shit and leave, in my head I'm like, why the fuck did I overthink this? Still, I'm second guessing myself, but I do it anyways. You know why? Because even if I look ridiculous, nervous, I will still do it, because it's the only way that I will learn. And then the second one is, if I don't know an answer to something, sometimes I stumble on my words and I say shit like, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember, because I feel like I don't know the answer. Some questions like, what does the amygdala do? And then I follow up with something like, is that part of the brain? I think it controls fear. I'm not sure. Bro, I really know. Why did I say that? If for some reason I don't know an answer to something, I learn to not be afraid to ask questions. Even if sometimes those questions do sound retarded. I could go on and on. No, I can't, but just pretend I could. My brain is fucking fried from like a sleep. Yeah, I could go on and on, but really, I said everything that I needed to say on the previous 3 lines, I guess. I don't know what it's called. Spanish, socializing, whatever the fuck. They are a branch of number 4 if you think about it. I don't trust myself with the driving, with the Spanish, and with the socializing. The point that this list is trying to make is I want to master the art of not giving a fuck. I gotta get more comfortable with the uncomfortable. Cause like, I wish I never give a fuck. There's a right way and a wrong way to give a fuck. And the right way is obviously the one way that I want for myself. I'll master it someday. And I am confident in my words that I will achieve that. Alright kids, that's all I have. I don't know how this will turn out. Hopefully it goes well. Like production wise, because recently I'm like, nah, this part's gotta be talking about this. Did I talk about this part enough? Should I even add this in? It's gotta be perfect, that type of shit. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm not an author, I'm not a writer, I'm just a guy with a mic who wants to write his feelings away. I'm just doing it to benefit myself. No matter how scattered or how out of place these words are, the keyboard and the mic are the saviors here. Alright, Illusion, shut the fuck up. It is 2:08 a.m. June 4, and you need to go to bed. Next essay topic, addiction. See you in a couple months. Peace.